Have you tasted Australia's native version of the blueberry? It has similar claims to fame as a superfood, but whether that is true or not, this is one delicious little morsel. Not only that, they are gorgeous, like seriously. They have these olive green leaves and bright red new growth. Their flowers are gorgeous, and then they're covered in these berries, which are like a white or grey kind of colour with either blue or bluish grey speckles on them. They look amazing. They taste like blueberries, but they have just a little bit of eucalyptus, which, you know, is the taste of home. And I'm going to tell you how you can take one Midgen Berry plant and get 10 Midgen Berry plants without actually having to buy them or wait for seeds to germinate. All right, so here's what I did. A little while ago, I went to my local nursery, and there on the TLC rack, or the Tender Loving Care rack, was a rather large Midgen Berry bush. Now, it had long branches that were in dire need of pruning, and it obviously needed repotting. So I was like, yeah, I'll take that, because Australian natives are expensive. So if you can find any way to get Australian natives cheaper, especially Australian native food plants, then you're going to try and do it, right? So I went and looked it up, and you know what I found? I found, yeah, you can propagate these by seeds or cuttings, but I couldn't find anyone actually giving any tips on what kind of cuttings worked best or what the success rate was like. So I thought, I'll just experiment and do it myself. Now, the way I propagated these after taking the cuttings, I've actually shared in another video called the propagation hack that changed my life, because it did. Cheap, easy, no care, no fuss way of getting cuttings to actually strike. And I'm going to put that video at the end of this video. I'm going to put a link so that you can just click on the end screen and you'll be able to go straight to that video if you want to know more about it. If you do go to watch that, it's a section on propagating with propagating sand that worked for these Midgen berries. And yes, this is one of the cuttings. So they took about 4 weeks to strike, and after showing you how to take the cuttings, I'm going to tell you what type of cuttings work best and what my success rate was. So let's go to that.
So let's start with how I take a cutting. 1. Select a section of plant that you can cut. I usually try for about 20 centimetres or 6 inches long. With Midgen berries, you want to make your cut below a pair of leaves, which isn't difficult because the branches are full of leaves. If your stems are as long as mine are and they need a significant trim, you can take 2 cuttings from the same branch. 3. Remove any flowers or fruit so that the plant can put the energy into developing new roots. 4. Remove leaves and stalks carefully from all but the top of the cutting. Leave some so that the new plant can still photosynthesize. With a sharp knife or pair of scissors, slice the stem diagonally from the lowest growth point or node to the base of the cutting. 6. Dip into rooting hormone. The powdered root hormone has given me the greatest success. The gels and honey have never worked well for me, not with Australian natives anyway. I used an old stick to poke holes into the soil before placing the cutting in the soil as deep as I could. I gently backfilled and then waited. With my propagation hack, I simply have to lift a terracotta pot to see if there are any roots growing out of the propagating sand. And then when I see some roots coming through, I know that it's time to pot up.
hardwood, semi-hardwood, or softwood cuttings. For anyone who doesn't know the difference, so a softwood cutting is when it's still like a fleshy stem. Semi-hardwood is when that stem is just starting, you know when stems are green but they're just starting to go woody? That's a semi-hardwood cutting. And a hardwood cutting is where it is like basically like a stick, so that if it's dry it'll snap, right? Hopefully it won't snap because your midgen berries are alive. Okay, so what I did was I took a few of each, right? And I didn't have much. Look, midgen berries generally, they harden up quite quickly. So I only had one softwood cutting and that didn't work at all. Semi-hardwood cuttings, I planted about 5 semi-hardwood cuttings and I lost 2. Then there were the fully hardwood cuttings and I took about 10 hardwood cuttings and every single one struck. And here's 2 of them. Now the ones with thicker wood, the thicker stems, actually grew a far healthier and more robust root system. So I recommend taking thicker wood if you can. This one here is one that is still going extremely well. It hasn't started to grow yet, but the roots when I pulled that out were brilliant. I just filled up the pot this much and then had to hold the stem and fill in over the top because I couldn't just poke a hole with my finger and slide the cutting in and then fill in. There were too many roots. There was actually too many roots. So I've got one of my other hardwood cuttings here, which I just popped in the water in my propagation station. I've been keeping from planting this one out so that I could actually use it for this video. So if you can see that, you can see that's a reasonable root system. I'm confident that that will grow into another midgen berry bush, but the one that I just showed you in the pot, its roots were out to about here. So almost like an inch either side of the stem. So there you have it. That's how you propagate a midgen berry from cuttings. I wish you luck on your own journey with your midgen berries. I hope you do this and you end up with some beautiful plants and awesome harvests. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button so that YouTube will share it so that I can get more views and hopefully monetize this channel, because if I can monetize this channel, then I can justify putting more time into it and bringing you more information about Australian natives, nature, gardening, and all the stuff that we do when nature is home. If you would like to share this, that would also be fantastic. Thank you very much. And please consider subscribing so that you can enjoy other garden tips videos and cooking with Australian native food plant videos and nature videos in general. Please don't hesitate to pop a question in the comments or a comment in the comments. I'd love to answer questions. I'd love to get ideas for what you would like to see. So feel free to pop those in the comments. And thank you again for watching and keep on growing.